So now we're at 7th chord riff in book 2, and this is right after the page that was the key of E major, primary chords in the caged keys. So this is a 7th chord riff. Now if you look at the bottom of the page, it shows you a G7 chord. And it's actually showing barring 3 strings, but you could do it barring just 2 strings or even just 1 string. But usually you'd want to bar at least 2 strings. And if you remember, this is similar to the shape that we did in Peggy Sue, where we went and we did that F chord that was just a half barred 4-string F. We've done the full F chord, but this is just a half bar. And so you move it up 2 frets, and that's G. Add the pinky, and it's G7. So I'm going to play through it and do a moderately slow tempo, and it's in a triplet rhythm. So I'm going to start by just counting 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, like that, okay? So I'm going to do it again. 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so probably you don't need to go faster than that. I mean, you could, but there's a lot of, if you notice, 5-fret shifts. You're going from 3rd fret position to the 8th and 10th fret positions, and then later to the 10th and 12th fret positions. So, and it's very important to connect notes. Like, you don't want to go like, and you don't want a hesitation like, wait a minute, okay, you want to learn how to connect. And but the way I would approach this riff, before we even get into connecting when you shift, it's really pretty difficult for a lot of students to get a handle on this riff. We're starting with the 3rd finger, and then it's 1st and 2nd, and then you kind of bar. But what I do sometimes is use the tip of my finger and then flatten it right when I play the 1st string. And that's called a bend and flatten technique. Sometimes you do it the other way where it's flatten and lift. But here it's lifted to flat. So what I would do is work on the 1st beat to the 1st note of the 3rd beat. And that would be 5, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. And just stop there. And make sure you have the right rhythm. If you're not up on this rhythm, hit an open string, like maybe just hit the 3rd string, which is the key we're in, G, and count the rhythm, like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. So it's shuffle, triplet, shuffle, you've had those kind of rhythms quite a bit, but if you haven't done them in a while or haven't counted them, review the count, okay? And then, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. And just make sure you can do that much of the riff without any problems. Do it at least 3 times with no mistakes. And then we're going to do the second half of the measure, starting with the note we just ended on, this 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And just do that 3 times. 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Or if I say the frets, it's 6, 3, 5, 4, 3. Those are the fret numbers. And then repeat the first measure several times until you're comfortable with the whole measure. So we'll put both halves of the measure together and play it that way. But just repeat that first measure as if you're doing it in a loop. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. At least 3 times. That's 3 times with no mistakes. So, you might have to do it 30 times to get it to where you can do 3 times with no mistakes. So, and now, now that you have this part of it down, that's a pattern of notes and fingerings that's exactly the same, moved 5 frets up. You're doing the same pattern of notes, just on higher frets, okay? So it's very similar pattern, moved to different frets, but if you know what a 1 chord, a 4 chord, so this is the 1 chord, G7, and C7 is the 4 chord, and we're really following a 12-bar blues. And and then later on, the 12th fret, the one that starts on 12, is the 5 chord. So that's D7 to C7, the 4 chord. And then if we look at the ending, we're on the G chord. And then we have an incomplete riff. And you want to flatten your 3rd finger and then kind of cross the 2nd finger while you're still holding the 3rd finger. And then add the 1st finger for D9th. So it's like this. So D9th is really 2nd finger in the bass, 1st finger, and the 3rd finger is sometimes we add that 1st string, but here we're not. But we're barring the 2nd and 3rd fingers. So it's good to put the 3rd finger down first, then the 2nd, then the 1st. And I've designed this riff to where you're doing exactly that. You're doing, flat 3rd finger, 2nd finger, and then adding the 1st. And you're actually adding that 1st string on the ending strums, because you're hitting the first 4 strings. So that's D9th, and that's kind of like you have to really clamp that 3rd finger down, and then the 2nd finger's, think of crossing them like they're crossed, kind of that way, and you'll have a better time. And also the 3rd finger should roll to the right. So you're not flat like that. You're rolling it to the right on the right side of the finger, and that helps the 2nd finger get in there. And then the 1st finger, sometimes the 1st finger gets a little muffled by the 2nd finger if it's not bent enough, but you can work on that. But And I wouldn't worry about it too much right now. Just try to get acclimated to that chord. And that's a new kind of chord, a ninth chord, whereas before we've been doing seventh chords a lot. Here's a ninth chord. And in blues, ninth chords can replace seventh chords. They're interchangeable, actually. You can do one or the other. The ninth chords tend to sound a little jazzier, but anyway, so I'm going to play it again and go a little faster, maybe. 1, 2, 3, or I'll go 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. I have to watch even myself. It's real easy to make a mistake on this with all these shifts. I forgot to talk about the shifts. Yeah, I forgot to talk about how to connect with the shifting. If you look at the last three notes of the first measure, that 5, 4, 3, and then look at the first note where you shift up to the 10th fret, actually you're in the 8th fret position with your first finger. Here you're at the 3rd fret position. So it's a 5 fret shift. 5, 4, 3. So learn to connect. Sorry, that's what you don't want to do. So you can do the last three notes to the first note of the next position. Or you could even do the last note see, and then do the last three notes of the C7th chord. These last three notes, 10, 9, 8 to 5. So it's da 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 da. And just do these three notes. Or just the last note. And then you can try the last three notes of the G, connecting to the 12th fret for the D7 chord. Notice it's the same note. That's a D, and this is a D. And then the last three notes of the D7, last three notes to C. That's not as much of a shift. Okay? So work on that until you can really connect the sound. You don't want to cheat and go da, da, but sorry. Let the sound ring until you hit the next one. And realize you have no time to shift. You're here and you're there. And that's the way it works. Okay? So enjoy that. And I'll see you in the next video. Like this video if you like it. And then subscribe if you haven't. And look me up on Facebook, John Hedger Guitar Studio. And like my Facebook page. Thank you so much.